Hello, I'm Dan Cooper, otherwise known as the Frustrated Gardener. Welcome to the Watch House. Pink Lady Apples have asked me to give you a tour of my garden and show you how I create wow moments using colour. I'm in part of the garden that I call the jungle garden, and it has a very sort of exuberant feeling to it. And what I've done this year is to combine green and red, which are colours that are on the opposite side of the colour wheel. And what they do is they really make each other pop out. So I love this begonia in particular. It's called Santa Cruz. It grows into this lovely big bush, and it goes beautifully with the foliage of this ginger plant here. It's a really lovely sheltered spot. There are cellars underneath, so everything has to be grown in pots, and it shows you just how big plants can get. The colours are very, very bright to uplift the green, and I grow lots of things that like the cool shade here. So begonias, gingers, bananas, they really revel in this kind of atmosphere. And it's a lovely place to sit outside on a hot day. We've got lots of colour in here and lots of exotic plants and big leaves. This is the Gin and Tonic Garden. It's a much smaller garden than the Jungle Garden, and it has a very different vibe. There's much more playing with textures. There's a lot more shrubby plants here as well, and different colours used to create the wow factor. Down here is a great example of how you can use tones of a colour to create drama. This lovely lime green foliage of this digroa, it does have some blue flowers later on, but it doesn't really matter because that foliage is so fresh and zingy. And then there's a great contrast with Senecio angel wings here. Lovely soft textural foliage and a really strong silvery colour. And next to that, a plectranthus with an amazing name. It's called Velvet Elvis, and it has this lovely bottle green, slightly sandy textured foliage, and underneath the most gorgeous aubergine, plummy coloured underside, and all together, just all shades of green, and yet they really create the wow factor together. Sometimes a flower can create a wow moment just on its own, and this is one of them. This is Clematis Florida var Florida Syoboldiana. Remember that if you can, it's a crazy name. It has the most stunning flowers, and it combines this very lovely cream with an apple green and that rosette there of violet petalettes, I suppose you would call them. And this is a great clematis because it grows very successfully in a pot, so it's great for a patio if you've got a small space, and it flowers for weeks and weeks on end. Another way to create the wow factor by combining colours is to put colours that are next to each other in the colour wheel together. So red, orange and yellow would be one great example, and here I've done just that. So we've got this fantastic Alstroemeria, it's called Indian Summer, and that has got hints of all three of those colours in it. And to pick that up, I've teamed it with this lovely lantana, which is a great plant if you want to encourage butterflies into your garden. To set that off, there's a bit of burgundy foliage here. This is a coleus called Salsa Roca. And that colour really helps to set off those brighter colours, the yellows and oranges, creates a really good foil, as we call it in the gardening world. And this is another favourite coleus of mine, it's called Henna. And again, you've got that bright, limey, appley green, and then a really russety contrast. And that helps to bring together all four of those plants in a harmonious whole.